could come into this different. While you jumping for gimmicks, I'll be undercutting and getting chips pumping that interesting. Sunning that ignorance, none of this mumbling written. It runs that I'm spitting with. Plunging eclipse your gift, cause my shadow too big to fit. Rap like I'm battling in the midst of a castle, arrows barreling in the hit where I travel. That a shadow, my dividends, my decision been just all stacking and racking up. Enacting cuts on you players that's acting up without backing up fast and such. What I'm after must remove and extract the fuss. So quick to chit chatter, but when the clips had a guts, you switch and get mad at us. No longer just passengers, we taking over the wheel.
Just letting the track breathe a little bit, letting the track breathe a little bit. Just a little snippet from my little bro, Dominic Tedisco. Yeah, I played it. So sorry about that, my friend. EP is coming soon. I'm telling y'all it's gonna be flames, man. But again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode of How Did We Get Here? I'm your host, Jay Carter, and my man that is always heard and never seen, Skeens.
What up?
AKA the Wizard of Oz.
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in again, guys. We missed y'all. It's been a few weeks since me and Skeens been together. You know, he went and checked out his mom's, as I told y'all. And so the last episode we had was with my big bro, Eric Young, man. Thank you for coming on the show, and I appreciate the engagement and people that checked out that video, man. So,
yes, sir.
Again, Better Than Your Average is the channel and the movement. How Did We Get Here is the show. We got two cousins that are like brothers talking any and everything and the process. How did we get here? How did we get here, man? How was your trip with your moms, man?
It was cool.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, I still had some other stuff with, my boy, since Tyrone had passed. So, it's kind of one
Rest
of those.
in peace to Tyrone, man.
Yeah, one of those moments. It was, you got to take the good and the bad. But overall, it's good to see family, hang out with my mom, things like that.
Yeah, indeed, man. And we mentioned it in another episode, but we just recently had the homegoing this past week of our big bro, Takuma. His mom passed. We had the homegoing service, and Skeens and I had the blessed privilege to attend and be pallbearers. So, again, shout out to moms. Miss Patsy, her names, but we called her Mom. So, again, rest in peace to her, and peace and love to the family. Still love, peace, and blessings to everybody out there that's in reach of our voices. We send y'all, our prayers, our continued love to you guys as we're still navigating this, where we are in the country, where we are in the world, man. Still try to be as safe, as healthy as possible. And, while we're protecting our physical, we also got to protect that mental space as well. I always want to encourage y'all to do that, man. So let's get right into it, man. I think we talked about this topic. We had a whole bunch of things, but I think one thing that we're going to talk about, guys, as we're days away from the next presidential election, of course, early voting and all that's been going on, but as far as the official day, and building up as we're into this political cycle right now, Skeens and I have been talking a lot about where we are as a country and where we are as our community as black people. Mm-hmm. And here's the question. Have we been conditioned to want symbolism over substance? Do we like symbology? Do we like before we, like they say, what's the ask? Mm-hmm. We like to show. You know what I mean? It's no different than sometimes I will talk with, men and women that are in relationships. And then this biased take on it. Sometimes you'll have, for example, a dude that is always a certain way towards his significant other in his behavior, how he speaks to her. And then he will come back and say, hey, you know how I get sometimes, man. I apologize. Symbolically. But there's what's the change behavior that comes with that? How do we not get back here again? Mm-hmm. And right now, Skeens, to me, and what we're going to talk about everything that encompasses this topic of symbolism over substance. But most recently, what has had Skeens and I fired up is Ice Cube came up with his ask, which is the contract for Black America. Oftentimes we have celebrities that are extremely symbolic in what they represent for the community. But what's the ask? What's the substance, right? And Ice Cube came with the viewership that he brings as a director, a producer, a movie star, in many ways a mogul. He's a historical figure in hip hop music. He's has the Big Three basketball league. All of this he brought with him to bring viewership to what's going on in Black America and what's happened in Black history. And he backed it up with actual substance by having a plan. It's a lot of it is very economic. A large portion of it is economic based. Mm-hmm. And he didn't sit around and just think of stuff. He got with actual economists. I'm calling him Honorable Dr. Claude Anderson. If y'all don't know look up Dr. Claude Anderson. Powernomics. He would drop some science and knowledge on you as far as economics and talk. And he, in many ways, he talks about substance over symbology, right? One of the guys that we love and we love him, but Skeens and I have been critical of him was Antonio Moore. But shout Antonio Moore while we're critical of him. He's a lawyer. He's based out of California. And he's come up, him and a young lady by the name of Yvette Carnell. And
Sandy Darity.
Sandy Darity as well. But they came up with the aice movement, which stands for American Descendants of Slavery. And Antonio Moore, guys, y'all check him out. He has a YouTube channel called Tone Talks, Tone Talks. And he breaks down the actual economic wealth gap between Black Americans and white Americans and what we need to do to bridge that gap. So Ice Cube got with him and added some of his take and things to the plan. So all that said, there was a faction of Black Americans that were so upset that he sat down with the Trump administration, talked to them. They talked with him about his plan. They snatched some things from it and implemented it into Trump's platinum plan. Yeah. So where we talk about I'm gonna let Skeens give his take in a second, but here's the overarching thought that I have. Do we want, again, symbolism over substance? And number two, are we so emotionally driven that it blinds us? Mm-hmm. What do you think, bro?
All right.
I know you got a lot, but
you're a little bit more PC than I am.
Absolutely.
So, the first question is, you remember when we grew up in school, I pledge allegiance to what?
The flag.
Okay. So when we started talking about pledge allegiance, my first question is, do you pledge allegiance to being a Democrat? And I'm not a Republican or Democrat. I'm an independent.
Absolutely.
In terms of my thinking.
Absolutely.
But are you pledging your allegiance to being a Democrat for all the people that got mad at Ice Cube for his meetings with Trump? Mm-hmm. Or are you pledging your allegiance to being a Black person? Whether male or female? Because it seems like right now the people that got mad have more allegiance or more aligned and seem to have more, to owe more to the Democratic Party than to your own people. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Because Ice Cube's contract with Black America was a movement and a contract for Black people only.
Right.
A lot of times, and we have talked about before, a lot of times things get lost in translation when they use the term minority.
Right. And so he made it.
So minority, Black. Yes, minority means a lot of things.
Yes. Minority means
I can be left-handed to be a minority.
Asians, Hispanics, women, gays, lesbian, trans,
so
all of that can get put in there, right?
You're being politically correct. A small person, you're a minority.
Right. Absolutely.
So that term get used a lot, and no one ever asks, okay, if you're talking about minority, what percentage of which minority gets what when you make that statement?
Right, exactly.
but we don't ask those questions. We don't use critical thinking skills. We just, okay, yeah.
Right.
But this contract was basically built for black people. People who have built this country. Like it or not, Trump finally admitted that this country was built by black people.
Right.
With Ashford, North Carolina, just recently, I think it's July, had just recently apologized to black people.
Right.
For slavery.
Right.
And discrimination.
Okay.
Now, we've never heard this country apologize.
No.
Never.
Right.
Even after slavery, we had the redlining and segregation and so on and so forth. And even when black people built themselves up in places like Tulsa, and it still got bombed, even after you build yourself up.
Right.
Still no apology.
Yep.
Rosewood, Harlem, it's so many places that black people finally get themselves up and still are being torn down. We've never heard an apology.
Nope.
North Carolina apologized. Was that California is coming out with their AB with 2131 bill, and which in terms Ice Cube was a part of.
Yes.
Which they're working with Gavin Newsom.
Yes.
To look into creating a way to give reparations to African Americans.
Boom.
Or descendants of slaves.
Yes, sir.
So when we start talking about these things, people are mad that he's meeting with Trump. Once again, he said, I'm not endorsing
politically affiliated either way.
I'm not endorsing Trump. I'm not endorsing Biden.
Yep.
I'm endorsing black people.
Yes.
It can be Puff the Magic Dragon.
Yes.
If he's going to sign that contract and to do the things that's necessary to give us the things that we're owed, not the things that we're asking for, the things that we are owed.
Yes, sir.
From many, many years of dedication, as we talked about before, we start talking about honoring and basically your loyalty to this country. Find me a people who are more loyal to this country than we are.
Right.
Because we've endured the worst.
Indeed.
Good, bad, no matter who's the president, whether it's Obama, Jimmy Carter, so on and so forth. We've endured it all, and we still stood. And then we start talking about for the people that complain about Ice Cube. He met with a racist. He met with Donald Trump. Okay. If we're going to use that, guess who we start talking about when slavery was ended? Who ended it?
Go ahead. Talk about it.
LBJ.
Talk about it.
Should have a round of applause for that. But
we can give
it. Yeah. Guess what LBJ was? He's a racist Democrat. If you don't believe me, look him up.
Right.
He has there's a lot of documentation that you can look up and see about the different things that he said about black people.
Yes.
So if we're going to take that stand, slavery will still be, because you're saying that I'm not going to deal with a racist.
Right.
And we talked about, if we're going to say these different things of, hey, I can't work with a racist.
Right.
I don't want a handout from him. You took that stimulus check, didn't you?
Boom. Took it, spent it, blew it.
How many people that complained about Ice Cube?
Hey, nobody got well, I mean, it went to your account, but if, let's say you got a check, nobody was,
how many people burnt that stimulus check up? How many people sent it back?
Nobody.
Whether we're talking about business bailouts, how many people said, I'm not going to take this money?
Right.
Unfortunately, we got a lot of people that was doing fraud. I'm not going to say a lot, but we had people that was doing fraud with the business that's getting locked up now.
Indeed.
Had no problem taking that bread.
No problem at all.
So when we start pointing
symbolism.
Stop pointing fingers. Oh, you did. Look here. Once again, who are you aligned with? And my thing is, how many people, have read the Contract of Black America? Instead of talking and complaining
and looking at
and moaning
and Twitter posts,
did you look at it?
Instagram posts.
Did you look at it for yourself?
Did you go to you can go and actually pull it up and read it.
And not to mention, as we talk about that, even just in terms, once again, not a Democrat, not a Republican.
No.
Independent.
Yes.
But for the ones that complained about who Ice Cube met with, right? Ice Cube said, hey, I met with the Democratic Party first.
They came to him.
Yeah. And they said,
We'll talk.
I like it.
Let's talk after the
But
election.
we'll talk after the election.
And
right?
the answer is because they're not in power, which
Okay.
I.
And we're gonna get to that. We'll get to that. So, and they said, hey, we're not in power. We'll get to it, right? Because we have no control,
Right.
But my thing is this: when you're running for president, what are you running on? Policy. If you have no control of anything, why are you bringing up any policies? Because you can't make those policies go in effect. Why? Because you're not the president.
Well,
so there was a cop out when they told him that.
Well, here's the other thing I thought about too, Skeens. Here again, when we're in this emotional mode, right? People forget that, hypothetically speaking, if Kamala and Biden don't win, they still go back to their political seats.
Exactly. So if you say, hey, if he didn't meet with Trump or whoever else is in power, are you saying that you're willing to wait 4 more years to bring him back up?
Right.
Now, who are you? Once again, as you talk about symbolism, I'm willing to allow my people to go through what they've been going through for 400 years for another 4 years because I don't agree who's in office.
Right.
I don't care if he can get one thing pushed that never would have got pushed.
Right.
That one thing is more than we've ever had. That we ever had.
Agreed.
So, and then we start talking about these things. Then then he met with Trump. Or Trump people.
Trump's administration. Because people really, again, Skeens, we're so emotional. And again, how we look at things. They think that like him and Trump are sitting down at the table.
Bro,
Again, it's just.
I don't care.
It doesn't matter anyway, but it's just the fact of how emotionally charged we get.
Yeah, and exactly. So, no matter how you feel about Trump, his people did take in consideration some of the things that Ice Cube came up with, and they revived. So,
added to the platinum plan.
Guess what he did? It was a win.
Yes.
Regardless if he got the whole contract of Black America in its totality pushed, or just a little bit, it's a win.
Yes.
So even if Trump wins and he puts forward what the ask,
yes.
So if we don't ask for anything, we can't put their feet to the fire.
Yes.
And then, or if you say if Biden didn't win, I brung something to you, but you told me, hey, we'll talk about it after the election. That didn't mean that you're going to play ball with me. Right. You just said we'll talk about it. Now, okay, you're a married man.
I am.
At the wedding.
Yes.
If the preacher would have asked you, do you promise to to death do us part, the whole vows of love and all this other stuff, great and wonderful. And you told, and at that time you said, we'll talk about it after the wedding. Do you think your wife would have stayed at the altar?
Absolutely not.
How many other women that are married, well, not just married women, how many people, period, at the altar,
right,
it would have stayed there? Or if you ask your wife, hey, you want monogamy? We want monogamy. You're not going to cheat on me, right? We'll talk about it.
Let me get back to you. I mean, we're not officially married yet.
Yeah. And
so let's talk about it, And
then if she cheats, well, she's not. But just throwing at how this breaks down.
Right.
If she did cheat, she never promised you anything that she wouldn't in the first place. Right. So as you said, I thought you said I said we'll talk about it.
Right.
I didn't say that I wouldn't.
Yep.
I just said we'll get back to it.
Right.
That's part negotiation. Or when you get a job. If I tell you, hey, you get the job, you're hired. Oh,
man, how much am I going to make? What's the salary? What's the hourly?
We'll talk about it after you start working.
I'll get back with you. No, it's not going to happen. And let's go down. I just said symbolism because I want you guys to think about symbolism. And I'm going to bring up some things that
burn it down.
So watch this. Number one, make sure we talk about Q going on with Claudia Jordan and them.
Yeah.
We'll put that over here. We'll get there, guys. We'll swipe that over here. So when we're talking about meeting with the other side and all this other kind of stuff, one of our biggest champions that we always talk about to this day is MLK, Martin Luther King. He met and talked with people that were anti-civil rights all the time, but that had to happen for us to get to where we are, right? Number one. Number two, when we're talking about symbolism, and I believe it was Dr. Claude Anderson that talked about it, and the great part of that civil rights era is we talk about what happened with the bus, right? Sitting on the back of the bus, sitting on the front of the bus, sitting on the back of the bus. Now, that was what she did is a great symbol, right? Mm-hmm. But the substance of it is when the boycotts came. That's where the substance came in. Mm-hmm. And he brought up the greatest point, Skeens, that we could talk about right now. He said, we were talking about with it again, salute to Rosa Parks. But the symbolism was sitting on the back of the bus, but he said, when we think about it right now, and I rode the bus a lot in high school and stuff, the first thing you usually do is go to the back of the bus, because there's not like a first or second class, a coach, an economy class of the bus, and he's like, Dr. Claude was talking about, the bus is going the same place no matter where you sit. Mm-hmm. But again, I understand the symbolism of it.
Not to mention, outside note, Malcolm X met with the Ku Klux Klan.
Okay. Number 3, and I know y'all going to jump all over us. Obama is one of the biggest symbols in black history of America. And I can't remember who broke it down. It might have been Dr. Clark. I can't remember who it was. But he was like, this is what happened with Obama. And again, if you guys go back and do your research on even Obama, where he actually came from.
Look at his history.
The level of affluence that he came from, right? Mm-hmm. But with Obama being elected, what we did is we saw all of the work of the civil rights era and Dr. Martin Luther King. We saw it basically, that baby birthed in Obama, right? Skeens and I can attest to it. We all went up to that joint, voted for. I remember yelling out the front of our old apartment when he got elected.
I went to the club at that night, the first time he got elected.
Yes.
And they had like an election party. We taking pictures of the final tally and all those things. So yeah.
Symbolic, but what was the substance that he provided to our community? And people, he couldn't do stuff direct. Yes,
he did some things, but what was our ask of him? That was the biggest thing we talk about. We didn't really directly ask of anything of him.
No, because we again, the symbolism of it, as soon as he was elected, there was no other obligation or accountability that we had for him as black people. Really, it wasn't.
Well, I mean, we would, a lot of people would say, hey, and I've heard it before, why should black people ask a black man what is he going to do for us? Because he should know, because he's black. Well, Barack Obama, a.k.a. Barry Santoro,
yes,
came up with a little bit of money. So, therefore, a lot of he may not have experienced a lot of the economic struggles that some of us face, because he like a lot of other politicians, trust fund babies.
Well, here's the thing, though, Skeens. And here's another thing. We act like that when you come out of the womb as a black person that you just are like downloaded. Oh, I know all of the history, and I will go forth, and you don't know. It's all based about how you came up, where you were raised, what was your frame of reference.
It's no different than Ice Cube when he had with his contract with Black America. Ice Cube said, I'm willing to work with anyone who's willing to work with
us. I'm not for either side.
And part 2, he said that this contract is not finished.
It's not.
So if
He said it's going to be years.
yes, so if any of us, any other black people have some good ideas that want
Yes.
to add to it, I'm with open arms. Come help. But instead, we demonized him.
Yes.
And we pointed fingers and talked about how bad he was, and he didn't know what he does. What he was doing. Now I'm gonna show you something, right?
Mm-hmm.
It showed the parallels of how this is done.
Right.
One, first parallel, LeVar Ball.
Mm-hmm.
And you ask why?
Mm-hmm.
LeVar stepped out and did something outside of the norm.
Yes.
He said, "Hey, the NBA is making all this money. College basketball is a $1 billion industry that you have kids that don't want to be in college. Mm-hmm. A lot of kids also are going to school, taking scholarships from kids that would love to be in school because they're forced to go to college and be in class for 1 year, one semester really, mm-hmm. and then they leave.
Yep.
So you got $1 million contracted coaches with players that a lot of them come from impoverished areas, mm-hmm. playing and making money for the school. And then they go. So he said, if for the kids that don't want to go to college, how about we start our own league? We empower our community. We keep the money internally. We allow these kids to make some money instead of raising $100 million for these schools. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be a lot of money because this is the first year and we're building from ground up, but we're going to pay them something, right. which is better than going to college when they don't want to be there.
Right.
What happened? Everybody demonized him.
Yes.
Oh, LeVar is this. He doesn't know what he's doing. He's so brash. And instead of people pulling him aside and say, hey, bro.
Yes.
Let me work with you. Let's get some people besides you that economists or other people who've had other basketball leagues and so on and so forth. Let us work with you. Mm-hmm. Let Jay-Z, Puff, Swiss Beats, and some of these other millionaires or billionaires, let us buy a team. Let us invest in the industry, in this industry, the same way that Ice Cube took his money and also investment money to create the big three.
Yes.
But we demonize LeVar the same way we're doing Ice Cube because he's willing to step on the ledge and do something different. And instead of working with them because it's a grassroots process, the program for us.
Yes.
But instead, because it didn't
look symbolically the way we wanted it
well,
to.
Not just that. It was for us, but it wasn't for you. And when I say it wasn't for you, for the people that getting that kickback, mm-hmm. it wasn't for you.
Right.
For the coaches that was getting that kickback, or different media entities that was aligned with the NBA, it wasn't for you. For the black people and all the Cardi, and I'm not demonizing these people, but all the celebrities that's getting kickback from the Democrat Party, or even you could say the ones that got money from Trump when they did what they did.
Right.
It was that kickback was for you.
Right.
We didn't the same way we see people complaining about Ice Cube. We didn't hear anybody complain when Cardi B met up with Biden.
They was applauding Cardi.
Yeah. Now Biden. Where was that? Now I haven't heard anything from her. Now Killer Mike, I can say Killer Mike is great.
Yeah.
He's very thought provoking. He's very intelligent and detailed. He knows policies. Yeah. Now I don't know what Cardi knows.
We don't know.
And I'm not gonna shoot her down.
Cardi, if you had something,
if you got great policies, cool.
Yes, I haven't heard about it.
But at the same time, I want us to keep that same energy when you see a celebrity meet with the Democrat or whoever party the same way you complain about him. Side note, and the further go with that, Cardi.
I know where you about to go.
Admitted to drugging men, having sex with them and robbing them.
Yep.
But we applauded her for going to hang out with Biden. What's the difference between what she did and what Bill Cosby was allegedly convicted of? Because Bill never admitted it. Now, do I think he did? I don't know. I don't have the evidence. Wasn't there part of the trial? But I know that there's no physical evidence, and I know that Bill did not admit to doing what he was allegedly convicted of. But I do know that we have her admitting to drugging, sleeping with, and robbing men. No pushback.
Right.
But we applaud it.
Right.
The WAP, and we applaud it when she went and met with Biden.
Right.
So my thing is this, right? I believe in burning it all down. That's my opinion.
Right.
Burning the whole system down.
Let's talk about. I want to go to put a pause there, but I want you to talk about your where you were talking about when you go to the polls, how it should be.
Yeah, and this is what I'm going to.
Okay.
I think my thing. I believe we should burn it down.
Right.
No more Democrat Party. No more Republican Party.
Right.
Everything independent.
Yeah.
There should be no more nepotism.
Yes.
We have politicians that stay in office for year after year. As I was looking and researching, a vice president can stay in office for eternity.
Yeah. There's actually no.
There's no cutoff.
Yep.
So if he can do it for 8 years with one president, if the president survives that long, the next president can bring him in, and so on and so forth. Other than the president, whether we're talking about the House or the Senate,
Yep.
they have unlimited lifespan.
Right.
Whether the Senate you serve unlimited 6 years, the House unlimited 2. If we're talking about a judge, lifetime.
Right.
Kill all that.
Right.
You should have to every year prove your worth. I should not only see a politician when it's time when it's election time.
Right.
How many politicians that even in your local city have you seen politicians that wouldn't even speak to you, look your way? But now it's time to run. Hey brother, hey sister, God bless you. Nice seeing you. Or they come into every church. You're Kojic today, you're Catholic tomorrow, you're Pentecostal, you so on and so forth, because they bounce from church to church trying to garner these votes. Burn the whole system down, start it over, make people earn those positions based off the merit of who you are. And I was talking about when you go into the booth.
Go ahead.
That shouldn't show names. It should only show policy. It should say what your policy is, A, B, or C.
Yep.
This is the policy, and you pick what policy
that you're
with, depending on how many candidates it is.
Just have policy.
Policy 1 through 10, or however many policies that they show it at the end. Once it tallies,
it gives you a
percentage of who you align with.
Right.
Should show you who you should be voting for.
Right. Yeah. I think
because it's for your best interest.
I think that will blow people's minds.
Not going in there and voting Democrat because I'm Democrat and not knowing the people policy, or not voting Tea Party or Republican, whoever and so on and so forth, because that's your alignment. No, you should vote based off of what do you agree with.
Yeah, your interest.
How many of us know what Biden policy is? How many of us even know about the 94 crime bill?
Bro, it's just, again, Skeens, when we talk about
or even better than that, a little bit older, was in 1974, they had the anti-black legislation. This was the term given to him based off from the NAACP.
Right.
Because he voted against segregation, actually, as well as one of the educational policies way back when that would have been monumental towards black people.
Right.
But this is not a Kamala Harris or Biden bashing. And side note, people, Kamala is not black. Stop. Let's stop with this. She looks the part.
Right.
And this goes to when we was talking about us voting for Obama because of black. Kamala is Indian. Her father is Indian and Irish. Her father wrote an article saying, this is not an article from me, nor Jay, nor the Pope.
Right.
This is an article from her father stating that they are Brahmin.
Yes.
They're Indian.
Yes.
He has no idea where she became black. And even in the Indian culture, a lot of those people, if you look at the birth certificate, it says Caucasian. So let's kill the myth. Just because she's an AKA doesn't mean that you have to be black.
Right.
Just because you went to an HBCU does not mean that you have to be black.
Yes.
So even MLK talked about you should be judged by the merit.
Yes.
Not by the color of your skin.
That's it. That's how we got to look at it. But
So-
we're not doing that because we're doing it based off of emotion. I've talked with, especially the generation before us. You know, I've talked with people, and like Jay, my mama always told me, you know, you just gonna come better off just voting Democrat. You know, I'm like, well, do you know I don't know the policies.
And
I don't know the agenda.
And that's my thing.
So we have to break that mold. We have to break that because here's the thing, man.
Not knowing policies is just like not knowing what your kids do.
You know what I'm saying? That's basically what we're doing, and we continue to do the same thing. And Ice Cube is not a part of the narrative as well. People are like, he's act like he the only person that came up with a plan. No, we know there's other agencies, other people that have come up with plans. Okay? But what we have to look at is that we support some people that are the most planless people.
Yeah.
I love Cap. I love Colin Kaepernick. One of my critiques of him is like, Cap, what's the plan? What's the move, Cap? One of my mentors, he always told me, Jay, when you're in leadership, the people have to see your face and they have to hear your voice. They got to know what we're doing.
Well, unfortunately, in this country, we are in love with celebrity.
Right.
So in this case, with Ice Cube, people use his celebrity against him because they tried to minimize who he was by saying, oh, you're just a celebrity.
Right.
But this country, we love celebrity.
We love it.
We tell celebrities that they are role models.
Absolutely.
When they don't qualify for it.
They haven't done anything outside of being famous.
Exactly. The Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Once again, it's not a Democrat or Republican
Yes.
bashing,
Yes.
but we're just trying to get people to understand. Stop trying to minimize or what someone is without looking at the totality of their work.
Right.
So, what does the Democratic Party use? Celebrities all the time.
Yes.
Why they got get your butt out to the poll? You had strippers talk about get your butt out to the poll. Really? That was we're talking about get your butt out to the poll. You got a stripper poll. Talking about getting to the poll. But because this is the stripper culture, the celebrity based culture, you're using their celebrity, right? To get black people to vote Democrats. Why? Because we love our celebrities.
Yes.
But in terms, you're using the celebrity against a celebrity who actually is informed
and has a plan.
So many years we always talk about we don't have a plan.
Yes.
What are we gonna do? What are we gonna ask for? We have someone with the plan, but the plan's not good enough.
Yes.
And instead of trying to add on to the plan or recontextualize the plan the way it should be or the way we ourselves envision it.
We just critique.
We critiqued and talked bad about it. Then we had the thing with Claudia Jordan.
Thank you.
Them.
So watch this, guys. So on Fox Soul, there's a show. I forgot what they actually call it, but it's a model, actress, radio personality, Claudia Jordan. Beautiful young lady. Beautiful lady. Got Lisa Ray's on there, actress. You got Vivica Fox, another actress. She's been on some shows.
Mogul, she got her own
absolutely
thing going on.
And you got Selena Johnson, who has been on. There was another show she was on, and she's a musical artist. So they have Cube. Come on, Cube is talking the plan. He's talking the plan, and it really, honestly, made my head hurt. They got to a point. Now, mind you, again, this plan is called the Contract for Black America. Claudia Jordan says, we don't see anything in there specifically for women. Y'all can pull this up. It's on Fox Soul. Pull it up on YouTube. Ice Cube says black women are black Americans. They go, no, we're not.
Nowhere.
Now, Lisa Ray, I did hear her say, yeah, we are. But it's 3 and they all start yelling, right? So at that point, the conversation started to go off of the rails. And so what Ice Cube said is, you know what? I will let you guys write the section for black women. This is all 4 black women talking to him. I will let you guys write the section for black women initially, because again, we're in this emotional state. They say no, to which Cube responds, first of all, you said there's not a part in there for black women. When I say you can write the part, you say no, you want a black man to write the section for black women.
Well,
what are we doing? How did we get here?
Well,
how did we get here?
Well, also, the contract is for black people.
Well, watch this.
There was no section that said black men.
People.
It didn't say black boys. It didn't say black girls. It said black people as
here's the other part.
But
some of the economic portion of his Skeens, talking about business and everything, because if you look at the stats, black women are the ones that are actually creating businesses and entrepreneuring, if that's a word, at the highest rate right now. So much of this is going to benefit you anyway.
But also, why are you trying to separate yourself?
Why?
From black? But that goes to one of our main issues.
Yeah.
Being, as I said, being on code or being united.
Right.
So he has a plan that's to unite and uplift us.
Yes.
But yet and still, as I talked about, some of the celebrities, it benefits us, but it don't benefit you.
No.
Because you want that kickback.
Yes.
The plan was for black people. But then you said, well, we're not black people. We're black women. So you're basically saying that you're separating yourself
right
from the pack. But if something happens, you would also say, black men, why don't you protect black women?
Right. Right.
You're supposed to be in this together, right?
Right.
Apparently. But you're wanting to be separate.
Yes.
If we're gonna be together, we need to be together.
Right. And I think what was,
as let's say you leave with who you come to the party with.
You know what I'm saying? I think a part of it that was somewhat disheartening is how easily we were divided on the issue instead of supporting it.
It happens at home, and during the election.
Yeah.
We come from a predominantly black city.
Yes.
And instead of riding with who's the best candidate,
yes,
they allow outside influence to tell another person, hey man, I think you'll be better than him. Which you're not. Right. But that divide, I think you'll be better than him. Right. He don't know what he's talking about. I put some money behind you. Right. So now that vote becomes 2. Yep. And then they go tell somebody else, hey man, I think you'll be good in politics. That person hasn't even thought about it. Right. Before you know it, we got 15 candidates in a 80% black city, all running and dividing the vote, and we got one white candidate. And guess what happens? The white candidate wins. Right. Why? Because you allow outside influence to divide us. 1, yep. 2, you allowed your ego to get in the way instead of doing what's best for all of us. Right. You thought about yourself. Yes. You thought about the shine, the celebrity, the kickback, yes, the position, and yes, everything that comes with it, because you wish to put yourself before your people, which in terms is what they wanted to do at that time. Yep. Divide. If you divided, you're conquered. So, as they say, you hit harder with a fist than with an open hand.
Remember that whining song? Together we stand, yep, divided we fall. Let's build a bridge and tear down the wall. We got walls in our own community that we still got to tear down, guys. And that's why what Skeens and I are saying is the contract for Black America better than any other plan out that has someone has come up with? Not saying that, but what we're applauding for Ice Cube is that we saw a prominent Black celebrity actually do the work of saying, I'm honest enough to say I'm doing movies and music in this. I don't know the intricacies of this stuff, but I will lean on the shoulders of those that have done it.
Yes, and
know this stuff.
And not to mention, he shouldn't have to have done it. He should not have been placed in a position to have to do it when we have career politicians.
Yes.
We have some of us who are career politicians, and the end of the first thing, and that goes to what I said, tear down.
Yes.
Because what have you done during your tenure, 40 years, 30 years, so on and so forth? Let me look at your resume and see what you have done.
Yes.
Because if the best thing on your resume is your name and that you've been in office for this long,
right,
there's a problem.
That's an issue.
I should see policies first. I should be able to see
Yes.
gold stars by these different things that
What is
you
like they say, what is your record? Yeah,
Yes.
what is your record, man?
And
What is your record?
Yeah, so that is really what we should see.
Yes.
And so we are seeing people also myth bust a little bit too.
Okay.
You know, they talk about us as Black men don't vote, right?
Oh yeah.
So
touch that.
Census. This is from the census of 2016. Black women vote 64%.
Okay.
Black men 54. So it's not really that bad.
Right.
White women vote 67%.
Okay.
White men is 64.
Okay.
Hispanic women vote 50%. Sorry. Hispanic men is 45. But the narrative is that we don't care about policies or politics.
Yep.
I think last year they said 13% of the Black men voted for Trump. But and I think they were saying Trump, his team is predicting 20% up to 23, 25%. And the question is why?
Okay.
One of the things is the Democrat Party right now, or lately, have not really talked to us as Black men.
Boom.
But yet, and still, a lot of us still, as we talk about, 54% of the Black men vote.
Yep.
Of that 54%, 13 voted for Trump. So you still have a nice percentage of Black men that voted for the Democratic Party, and they don't speak to us. They only speak to the women because they know the women move everything.
That's it.
If the women vote, we're going to vote.
Yep.
But then they're wondering why men are starting a defection because you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
You're talking at me, for one. When you do talk to me, you're talking at me.
Yep.
And that's few and far between when you actually talk to me.
Yes.
So that tells us that there's a relationship gap, and that you need to do a better job of ingratiating yourself with the community.
That's it.
And also, not, as I stated, waiting to, it's time to put your political stake in my yard.
Right.
Or come to my church or come to my job and pass out flyers.
Yep.
You should be doing the work year round.
Right.
To better, one, understand your community.
Right.
Work with your community.
Right.
And build those bridges that way that you understand what your community needs from you. And we understand the work that you're doing in terms of trying to make sure that you fulfill our needs. Must be done.
One of my lights went out, y'all.
That light was basically saying that was a tearing down of the political parties.
Hey, seriously, can you grab that other one right there, y'all? We gonna keep it. Hey, this live, baby. But I also wanted to talk about is that I think so much of, again, talking about the divide. And I've seen so many people say that Ice Cube, by doing the contract for Black America, yeah, right there. You can plug it in right there. Is down the middle. And hopefully y'all can still hear me. Oh, that's it. It came unplugged. They're saying that him doing a contract for Black America is down the middle. How is a contract that is specifically for a certain group of people that have been marginalized, disenfranchised in the country, how is that down the middle?
Well, not to mention
that is straightforward. That's a bullseye.
How are the people that really need it the most the main one complaining?
Well, here's the other thing too.
Ice Cube has money.
Right. Well, here's the other thing though, Skeens.
He does not need this backlash. He does not need the headache.
No, not at all.
He's made it.
Yeah, because they're talking about he's doing this to align himself a certain way. I'm like,
Cube is overworth. He's worth more than $100 million. He's cool.
He's straight.
He has.
If anything, he would be bringing more unwanted attention to himself by doing this and burning bridges.
Burning bridges and taking a lot of money out of his own pockets by doing something he didn't really have to do.
And here's the other thing, y'all, that y'all have to look at. This whole the political game as it is anyway. And like I said, it's the game. Because here's the thing, guys. As Skeens was talking about, we got people in these seats for years and years and years. Now, some people, some politicians that come from these families that have been affluent, have had money, education for years. Some of them, hey, baby girl. Hey, Jace. Some of them have come from humble beginnings, right? But as soon as you put yourself into these seats, you now become a part of the minority of the country economically.
Also, as we talk about those kickbacks, look up the net worth of a lot of these politicians.
Right.
Now, if you're saying that your money is only coming from a job from the government, how do you have $100 million?
Okay.
How do you have several hundred millions of dollars?
Right.
When that position don't pay as much as it really don't pay that much.
Right. So what we're talking about here is the whole political system as it is. And again, it's something that we've given it's the same thing like we do with celebrities. We put them in a position that they have not oftentimes earned. It's symbolic. It's not substantive. So what you got to think as a politician, what we're asking them to do for us, the regular folk, you're saying that you trust a politician to basically amend the system to put him at disadvantage.
They're basically Al Sharpton. You only see them
to
doing
put
the highlights.
us at an advantage.
They're Al Sharpton.
You have to, again, how many people, once they start to breathe that rarefied air, are going to come down here with the, like Jamie Foxx said in Booty Call, when he was talking to Vivica, I can't remember, she was talking some stuff about money. He's like, there are some poor folk in the world. You know what I'm saying? You want them to come to be the poor folks. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It's all a game. So the thing that we're talking about, guys, if, as Skeens is saying, burn it down, tear it down, reconstruct it all.
And then second, the Constitution, because it wasn't written for us.
You know what I'm saying?
Nor was it written for women.
No. And what we have to do in this community, guys, we cannot be so emotionally driven, and we cannot, in the presence of facts and logic, say, That's why we find, because to be honest, oftentimes the Democratic Party, especially, we'll say at the federal level, oftentimes the biggest platform that they're just talking about is racism. Racism. You know he's racist. You know he's racist. You know that's racist. That's racist. I watched Jamel Hill explain how the 94 crime bill was actually not that bad on Biden. Yeah. And it would have went to the still up to the judges. Now, Skeens, break that part. You was somebody.
I had an argument with someone about that. We was talking about the whole, well, that was then. Well, the 94 crime bill was 2.3 million people locked up.
Yes.
There are millions of other people that are on probation.
Yes.
Now, to show how it still affects today, one rock is 5 years. You got an additional year for every rock after. Now, the second you become a felony, what can't you not do? You can't vote.
No.
Once you get locked up and become a felony,
A felon.
a felon, sorry, you can't vote. You also have troubles getting a job.
Yes.
The households are fragmented because you now have mothers are forced to be single parents.
Yes.
Because these men are not in the kid's life, or women that was locked up, either or. Mm-hmm. But because of that crime bill, you're forced to 80%.
Yes.
So when they start talking about when he blames it on the judges, well, based off of the letter of the law, the judge has to enforce a minimum.
Mandatory
minimums. So, and that goes to, as we talk about words and allowing people to trick you with certain phrases without doing the work of researching and understanding what does that person mean when they say that.
Yep.
So we still have people that are locked up now.
Yes.
Since then, or because you now have that rap sheet. Guess what? You can't get a job.
Boom.
Guess what you're going to go back to do for the most. The likelihood is that you're going to go back in the streets and do what you. I'm not going to say that you do best. One of the few means that are available to you is getting back in the streets because
you're going to do what you know.
Well, that you're given the opportunity to do, because a lot of jobs, even though they say they don't, will hold it against you.
Yes.
That you got locked up.
Yep.
You served your time.
Yep.
You came back rehabilitated.
Yep.
Allow this person to start over, clean slate, and try to become a better person. But if you don't give me the opportunity to do so, what other option do I have as well? Especially when I have mouths to feed. It's no different when you're out of high school or college. Mm-hmm. You say I'm going to get a job.
Yep.
The job tell me I can't hire you.
You have no experience.
Yeah. So, well, how can I get experience if you're not going to give me an opportunity to work? It's no different than those guys.
Same thing, same predicament. Yep.
You won't give them an opportunity.
Yep.
And then the PO is on their back said, you don't have a job. If you don't get a job, I'm going to lock you back up. Right. Well, no one will hire me.
Can we see how this system is organized, y'all? Let's talk about it. So here's a part of the how did we get here plan for Black America. I just had this. Skeens and I have talked about this for years. And the part where I really applauded Ice Cube again is because a lot of this was talking about economics, right? Because money doesn't solve all things, but money helps a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. It helps a lot. It helps a lot. And one thing that Skeens and I have talked about for years, as we talk about the black dollar, only cycles in our community 6 hours. Mm-hmm. Why is that? Because of ownership. And in many ways, haven't been permitted to own things again, we can own things at a smaller local level, but to amass it where it can be something nationally effective, we haven't been given that opportunity.
If you think about it, everything that we've romanticized and we love the most and most attached to, we own none of it.
We don't. So
whether we're talking about sports, you love your college football, your Cowboys, and so we own none of it. So basketball, none of it. Music, none of it. Majority of us don't even own our community.
So watch this, guys. So you say, okay, because you hear that stat that the dollar only cycles 6 hours. So the way my wife and I get paid, we get paid on alternate weeks. So it's fun because there's always a paycheck coming in every week. So as soon as we pay our mortgage on our home, right? That's our biggest bill, single bill. The bank that owns this, that we're paying our mortgage to, is not a Black-owned bank. So boom, that money is gone. As soon as we pay her car note, that's not a Black car company. That money is gone. As soon as we pay our cell phones, I have a Samsung with Sprint. She has a Apple, an iPhone with who the heck she had? Is it Verizon? I don't know who.
AT&T.
Yeah, AT&T. Why I couldn't think of that. Anyway,
and I have Verizon, they all, and every one of them, unfortunately,
It's not.
have stake into the prison system also.
Okay, boom. That's a whole nother conversation. Not black owned. As soon as we buy groceries, HEB, Walmart, that money is gone. So that's what happens. So what we have, a part of our, and this is stuff that the Nation of Islam has talked about for years, but what we have to do in order for the black family to have a true, outside of reparations and other things like that that are in the contract for Black America, we have to have an infrastructure where the black family can take care of their basic everyday needs and have it stay within the community. Jay, what are the basic needs? Again, farming, grocery store, retail.
And to further show the disparity, it stays in the Asian community for 28 days.
So that money stays in, so our community, to show where we
28
are on the
days.
spectrum, right? On the black side, it stays less than a day. It stays a fourth of a day.
It's less than your work shift.
It stays less than the time that by the time you finish your shift at work, that money has left our community. As opposed to the Asian community, it stays there almost it cycles for a month. It cycles a month.
And Black History Month, it cycles the whole thing.
It cycles an entire month.
The Jewish community, 19 days.
Okay? So these are the things also that I believe that we should be collectively doing. Remove emotion. Remove this symbolic stuff. They talking about, oh, they're going to take the black man off of the cream of wheat. Man, what needles does that move for us, man?
Well, not to mention, well, the question is, besides that is, have we been getting cut in with the black man on the cream of wheat?
No, that's not owned by black folks.
Have we been getting cut in with Ancient Mama on the bottle?
No. It's symbolic, Skeens. If you take it off of there, it doesn't matter. It doesn't move my needle.
It can be no name. It can be Eeyore on the bottle.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care because we're not getting anything from it.
It's only symbolic, and we have been pacified by symbology for far too long. The time is to change it. And the person that I salute again,
substance,
Tyler Perry.
Yep.
One-stop shop. You could do everything right here with
no matter how you approve or agree with his movies.
I'm a one-stop shop. And we have to, again, once we take care of where the black family can take care of their basic needs, which is I can feed my family, I can go and get my soap and deodorant, and I can get clothing. Mm-hmm. Those things, right. Once we have it set up where we can do, that impacts the white infrastructure and starts to tear that down, because I don't have to go to Walmart. I don't have to go to HEB or Kroger or whatever your Safeway, whatever your place is. Mm-hmm. I don't have to go there.
And get this right. There has been more outrage and effort to cancel Ice Cube,
right,
than Gucci.
We couldn't even continue to boycott for them, man.
We want a smooth week. And everybody, oh man, I spent too much money for this fit. But you put more energy and effort in counseling a man who is championing for you.
Yes.
Which is us.
Yes.
Think about that.
Yes, absolutely. But again, that goes into, unfortunately, because a myriad of things. But and this is not Jay and Skeens, we're anti-white Americans, but we are pro-black and us having our established stuff in the country. Mm-hmm. Right? So we unfortunately align ourselves with white ideals as our measure of success.
Pay us what you owe us for what you did to the Cold Crush.
You understand what I'm saying? So we align ourselves with these things as successful when we see somebody in the foreign whip, when we see somebody with the designer shoes, the Gucci's or whatever, and the clothes on. But that doesn't do anything to empower our community.
Exactly.
I have to, and again, here's the other thing. Social media and the ability for us to see celebrities will make you think that black Americans are doing so much better. Mm-hmm. The fact that Skeens and I, praise the Lord, my bills are paid on time, every time, all the time. I don't have an issue. And what we do is we get these little false levels of success because we can go on that vacation, right? We can go to Cheddar's and go out to Fogo de Chao and front and go on to Roof Chris and all this other kind of stuff, right? But again, in our community, what you have to understand is that because we have this idea of portraying and again symbolically showing like we got it. So again, it's like the money that you have and the debt that you have around you every month. Look at it as like water on your body. And you're at a place, how far are you away from drowning, right, Skeens? What we don't understand is that many of our counterparts from other cultures, when they're going to Fogo de Chao and Ruth Chris and buying designer and going on vacation, the water of debt is at their ankles, their knees, and their waist.
Bro,
we
are sneeze away from drowning.
For most black folks, for us to go on these vacations and to do these things, again, we want to symbolically front on line. The water is right. You got your lips up. It's.
That's why I said we'll sneeze away from drowning.
We'll sneeze away. We don't need to align ourselves. We got to build our infrastructure. Mm-hmm. That's what we got to do. And I got to say, if Skeens and Skeens, y'all, people always talk about, man, y'all cool like that because y'all cousin, but y'all know plenty of family members that ain't cool like that. Mm-hmm. But this dude is my man, 100 grand. I got a handful of other guys that are like, if he got it, I got it. If I got it, he got it. Skeens is never going to see himself as successful if he doesn't see me and some of the other brothers around us come up. Mm-hmm. We have to passionately pursue, to quote my man, Pastor Tate, we have to passionately pursue our community coming up. Mm-hmm. And it ain't just one-offs.
Yep.
We can't get hyped off of one-offs. Y'all, if you look at we might have to bring the data up on another episode, but if you look at the economic disparities between where we are now and 50, 60 years ago, it has not actually changed.
Nope.
It looks different again because we got cool phones, we're wearing some cool clothes, and again, we can go out to eat when we want to.
A lot of filters.
But the disparity and the wealth gap between our culture and others has not changed, guys. It hasn't. So all that said, guys, ask yourself the question, are you somebody that is so politically aligned that it has blinded you? Number one. Number two, be real with yourself. Are you somebody that's symbolically out here trying to show things? Have you attached yourself to the symbology of a thing?
And once again,
symbolism doesn't feed you. This isn't Peter Pan with Robin Williams and you can imagine eating the food and you gonna get full, y'all. We need substance. Absolutely. We gotta love substance over symbology. And the only way we're gonna get there is together. Go ahead, close us out, man.
And if your biggest take from this message is we're bashing Democratic Party or we're bashing
you missed it,
Kamala, or bashing Biden, look yourself in the mirror.
Yep.
Because the people that we speak about may be you.
That's all right. All right. Man in the mirror. You know what I'm saying? But again, guys, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Let us know what you think. Again, I'm your boy, Jay Carter, and the man that's always heard and never seen,
Yep.
Skeens. This has been another episode of How Did We Get Here? We will holler at y'all next time.